In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio, live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Tina Gonzalez and Sandra Back, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the resources that are available in both the public and private sector. And we'll be sharing helpful information from women around the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother, both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio. And here are your hosts, Tina Gonzalez and Sandra Back.
Hi, this is Sandra Beck at Military Mom Talk Radio, and I am here today to talk to a really great blogger. She's got this outstanding website. Our co-host Tina Gonzalez is not with us today, so it will be just me hosting the show, and we have such an exciting show for today. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about Freedom Dogs, and I would like you guys to go to Pepsi Refresh Everything. For those of you that have listened to our show in weeks past, we have been heavily promoting the Pepsi Refresh campaign, which is going to award $250,000 to different charities. It's backed by Pepsi. And all you need to do is go on to the website, Refresh Everything, Pepsi Refresh, and you can Google it. And then you sign in. They ask for your email address, but we did test it, and they haven't spammed us yet. And you go ahead and vote. And there's all sorts of different categories you can vote for, but Freedom Dogs is something that's near and dear to our hearts. And Tina's husband is a participant in the Freedom Dogs. And what the Freedom Dogs program does is it matches rescued dogs and trains them with an injured service member and brings the service dog to the family to help the family and to help the service member. And these dogs they're amazing. They can turn on laundry machines. They can, pick something up if the service member's in a wheelchair and they've dropped something. It's really just an amazing program. It's good for the dogs. It's good for the animals. It takes 5 minutes of your time. You can go to Military Mom Talk Radio and find us on Facebook and link to us there to vote for Freedom Dogs. But it's a really great organization, and we're so happy to promote it and to be part of the Freedom Dogs. And $250,000 will go a long way to helping Freedom Dogs make sure that the number of servicemen and women that are coming back have the service animal that can really help them. It also helps them with depression. It gives them companionship, and it's just a really great program overall. So we are here today with Elaine Wilson. Elaine, are you here on the line?
I sure am. How are you today?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I was on your blog today poking around. It's so great what you're doing for our American servicemen and women out there. Family Matters is such a big part of the different services that are provided on the Internet. And now this is is this your brainchild?
Well, I appreciate you poking around in there. I really do love doing it. I hope it's a good resource for people. Well, it was kind of a joint brainchild. I work at American Forces Press Service for the Defense Department. And about a year ago, there was a big effort underway to expand our scope into social media outlets because we were trying to reach a younger population. And we started sitting around and brainstorming about different ideas about how to do that, aside from the Facebook and the Twitter. And we decided, well, why not start at least one blog, and maybe we can branch out into other blogs later. And as a former active duty, I was in the military and been around the military, worked for the military my whole career. So I just have a big passion for helping military families and really empathize with a lot of their challenges. So it was kind of a natural fit. So we decided why not do a blog about military families and offer some good information and resources to people out there. And it'll be a year this August since we started it.
So we're almost up on your 1-year anniversary.
That's correct. We're coming up. It feels, I guess time flies when you're having fun because it's just flown by. And since we started our blog, the DoD also has the DoD Live blog that has more general news and information. So we're branching out more. But yeah, it's really flown by the past year. It's been so much fun. I've gotten to travel. I've gotten to talk to a lot of different people. So it's just been such a rewarding experience for me. And it's something I really love to do. I also write news stories, but this is something that's a passion. So I really enjoy it.
Well, and it can be very personal, and it's funny, and it's interesting, and it's insightful. And you're probably one of the best people to put something like this together. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. Hopefully I'm a good person for it. I joined the Air Force in 97, so I was in the Air Force for close to about 7.5, 8 years. I was active duty. I was, at that time, married to another military member. So I was, I guess, a part of a dual military couple back then. And then we had 2 children, 2 beautiful children together, and we split up, and I found myself in the military as a single mom, which was very challenging. I was stationed overseas in Turkey. I've written about that quite a bit, the challenges that I've gone through, and I definitely empathize with our single parents in the military quite a bit.
Now, when you were overseas in Turkey, where were your kids?
I'm sorry?
When you were overseas, when you were as a single mom, you were stationed overseas in Turkey, if I'm hearing you correctly. Where were your kids at this time, and how old were they?
They were with me. I had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old.
A 1-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were 18 months apart. It was a really difficult time, and it was very challenging, and just balancing my military commitment, because it was a very demanding commitment, with being a good parent. And
right, now you were active duty Air Force at this time, or
yeah,
you were reservist?
I was active duty. I was active duty Air Force at the time. And it was very, very challenging, but it taught me a lot about life, and it taught me that you can't do it alone. It takes a village. You need to rely on a support system, friends, whether it's of friendships or coworkers. You just need to rely on people to help you through those times, because it was definitely challenging, but it also gave me a lot of insight as to what people go through, military moms and single moms, and I think it helped develop that insight so I can now write about it. So it was a bad experience at the time, but it taught me a lot about myself and about being a good parent.
Well, and knowing, I think also, too, I'm a single mom as well, and it does, you kind of have to humble yourself and, get used to asking for help, and, that wasn't an easy thing for me. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you either, but at some point you just, you need help. There's no other way, and if you're in Turkey with a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old and you're active duty Air Force, I would imagine you had to put the surrender flag up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, it's so hard to ask for help. I'm not the type to ask for help. I'll do it on my own. I'm strong. I can do anything. But there's times where you absolutely have to, and you do have to humble yourself and say it's okay to do that, because you're just not going to make it. You have to have people to rely on and be able to talk to and vent and just lean on, say, hey, can you watch my kids for an hour? I need to breathe. And you need to find that, whether you have it built in or maybe you can develop that through joining a group or some sort of support system, because some people might not have that right off the bat. But you need to develop that, because it'll give you that time for yourself, which you really need.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I don't know about you, that was one of the hardest things for me. It was really easy for me to ask people, because I run my own company, and I parts of the years I help care for my mother and father who are elderly, and as long as I had that justifiable reason of going, look, I need to be at this meeting, I need to do this, it was something other than me that was the the catalyst, but it was kind of hard for me to go, wow, would you watch my kid because I really need to just take a bath and chill for a few minutes. That was the hardest thing, because if it was for my company or for you, for your service, but that personal time feels so weird to have to request help for.
It does. It's a hard thing to ask for, but I think it's extremely important. And I did several blogs on single moms since then, and some stories, because it's very near and dear to my heart. And I really do want to put the word out about how strong these women and men are. There are men. I forget that sometimes, but there are single dads, and how hard of a challenge it is. And I really wanted to educate people, or just make them aware that this is what's happening. And maybe by doing so, maybe if people read about it, they'll reach out to a single parent who they know, or it'll encourage the single parents to reach out to others. Because it is hard to ask for help sometimes. It's nice when people offer.
Absolutely. It's and even if you don't need it at that point, it's still nice for somebody to acknowledge. But I think that's one of the things that your blog does that does it so powerfully at times. It's that acknowledgement that, we can't do it alone. And, as a single parent in the military, there's a different set of conditions, and for you to be open and to share your experiences like that, it really gives people the understanding that they're not the only one, because I think that's a feeling that comes up quite a bit.
Yes, I get a lot of people with the single parent, especially, that can relate. It's not a huge population in the military, but it's a significant one. And people, when I put this stuff out there, they definitely respond well, because I think they're happy. When I wrote my single parent story, I made the mistake of highlighting only single moms, and there were several comments, what happened to our single dads? So I do plan to do another article or blog post and highlight our single dads, because, like I said before, they're going through the same challenges and everything. But it's nice to talk about topics. Sometimes I think I bare my soul, and I worry sometimes that my kids are going to read it someday and say, wow, you put us all out there. But
you know what? It is real, and your Family Matters blog is about families and all different types of families, and we need to go to commercial break. But my name is Sandra Beck. I'm here at Military Mom Talk Radio, and I'm here with Elaine Wilson, and she's an editor and writer for the Defense Department's Armed Forces Press Services and the author of Family Matters blog. We'll catch you back after the break.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system, keeping the home fires burning? That's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Tina Gonzalez, and we'll be right back after these. Girlfriended is on TogiNet. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, with your hosts Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. This show is your chance to share, learn, laugh, and connect with other women. The Girlfriended principle was born out of loss.
Lisa had recently had her mother pass away from cancer, and my mom was murdered. A man just walking into a room and started a 23-second shooting spree.
I think one of the things we both realized going through those tragedies, that you can be extremely okay and be extremely sad.
Check out girlfriended.com. And then be a part of Girlfriended, the radio show. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.
Your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, they don't totally understand that emotional side to women like another woman does. And I think that's so important, just to have somebody that you go, she gets me.
Check out the website, girlfriended.com. Don't miss Girlfriended with Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. What's your story? Are you living it? Well, you could be. It's What's Your Story with Hillary Bilbrey. Friday mornings at 10 Eastern, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Her passion is helping others discover, create, and live their personal brands. Yep, you heard me. You have a brand. No different than Coke, Pepsi, or Nike. You are a walking, talking, living, breathing brand. You're not a logo. You're not a tagline. The choices you make become the path you take. This is your brand. Now, live your story. Your brand is not just what you say it is. It's also what others say it is. So what are you communicating? And how can you create an authentic brand? We'll take on these challenges with What's Your Story? Every week, Hillary will feature teens, moms, and organizations that are learning and living their story. Now, her passion is to help others discover, create, and live their personal brands. To find out more, go to inspiredbyfamily.com. It's What's Your Story with Hillary Bilbrey. Friday mornings at 10 Eastern, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front, with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sail at the BX. Now, let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Tina Gonzalez and Sandra Beck.
Hey, Military Moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here at Military Mom Talk Radio, and my lovely co-host, Tina Gonzalez, is here to join us. So, Tina, you were doing a kind of a mom thing. What were you just doing, and where were you while we were on the air?
Oh, I was doing the preschool registration thing. It's been a while since I've had to enroll a kid in preschool, and if you don't have all your paperwork, if you're missing just one thing yet, they don't enroll. So I was running back and forth between them and the doctor's office, trying to plead with our pediatrician to please just take 5 minutes to sign a paper, then run back, and then, of course, get caught in traffic right before the show. But,
that's Southern California for you, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Like hop on the 405 or the 5, and it's going to be blocked the minute you need to go somewhere.
Yep, it sure does.
Well, we are super glad to have you back, and we have the most amazing guest today. Her name is Elaine Wilson, and she is an editor and writer for the Defense Department's Armed Forces Press Services. And almost a year ago to this month, it was in August of 2009, she launched a blog called Family Matters, and it's a really great blog, and it provides resources and support to military families. And it talks on everything from deployments to separations to just the challenges of everyday life. And she's already wowed us in the first segment by being a military mom, being a mother of my favorite part is a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old stationed in Turkey, active duty Air Force, while trying to raise 2 kids on her own. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
That was a few years ago, but yeah, I did go through it.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't that, when you hear that, you just go, wow, how did I do that?
Oh, to this day, I'm still in amazement. I think it's just that one day at a time thing. You just have to literally just take it. I still do, I think, take things one day at a time. My kids are now 6 and 8, and I have a new 1-year-old, so I'm still wondering how I do it.
Yeah, boy, you're just a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
I'm thinking that. I definitely am thinking that occasionally. I write about my working mom's guilt quite a bit.
Well, that's awesome. It's an amazing thing you're doing, and I want to step aside from Family Matters in the blog for a minute because Tina just went and checked on Pepsi Refresh. I think we were number 56 when we were last on the air. Tina, what are we right now?
We are number 48.
We are number 48, so we need everybody to get on Pepsi Refresh, refresheverything.com. Sign up. It takes about a minute and a half, and vote, because we're really trying to get Pepsi Company, the soda company, to award $250,000 to Freedom Dogs. And Freedom Dogs is an organization that provides rescued animals, trains them with the active service member. And Tina, give us a quick rundown of your experience with Freedom Dogs.
My husband is helping to train some dogs to get them ready to be service dogs, and he also uses one of the service dogs, Charlie, in his getting through appointments and stuff like that he has a really hard time with since he has anxiety. And we also have America, who's our new puppy, and she is trying to get on the road to being trained, but she's still in the early puppy stages, so we have to get her calmed down before we can start with our training on her.
And the service member, like your husband and the dog, actually train simultaneously, correct?
Yes.
So the service, your husband learns how to work with America, and then America also learns not only what she's supposed to do, but how to work with her human companion.
Oh, and she does. You should see her. She works perfectly with my husband. I try to give her the commands, and she looks at me like, no, you're not the one. So, yeah, they have some kind of sync in between them that she knows what she's supposed to do when she's with him.
That's great. That's great. That's exactly what we want to hear. And, this type of training doesn't come cheap, and we need everybody that's listening today and their friends and family to hop on Pepsi Refresh. All you have to do is log on, look for Freedom Dogs. It pops right up. Go ahead and vote. You can vote every day, and I think the voting cuts off at the end of the month. Is that right, Tina?
Yes, at the end of July.
End of July. So you can vote once a day. We really need you guys to do that because it's a great opportunity to say thank you to our servicemen and women. And as the battlefield success rates get higher and higher and people come home, we've got more injured servicemen than ever before, and these dogs are really necessary to their quality of life. And it's not too much to ask for everybody listening today to pop on for 2 minutes to help somebody that has given, their mobility, their health for the service of our country. So, that being said, let's pop back to Elaine. Elaine, you talked a little bit about how did Family Matters start, and I briefly ran through some of the topics you've covered. Can you share with us what have been some of the topics that your readers have found most intriguing?
Sure. We've covered a huge amount. I was going through the archives in preparation for this, and I was kind of shocked to see how many topics we've already covered. It's been really amazing. Everything from summer camps and reading programs to policy changes to military leaders' speeches. We try to really give a wide range. I think a couple of hot topics over the past year. One of them has been My CAA, the spouse employment program, where spouses can get money for school. That was put on hold, and that created quite a stir. And I was really glad that the blog offered them a place to vent, because we got a lot of comments on that. And what's great about a DoD blog is I can pass these comments on to military leaders, to people who work in the Pentagon, who, so they can check it out and see, oh, these are suggestions or these are issues. So it really creates a great dialogue, which has been, I think, a really great aspect of the blog is that ability to do that, especially with the Defense Department.
Well, and blogs in general are very powerful tools because they allow, sometimes the unbiased truth to come out. There's really no downside to saying it like it is for most topics. I mean, for some, absolutely. But when you put a blog topic up, my company does, Motherhood Incorporated, engineers about 60 to 70 blogs a year for our clients. And we found that the feedback that comes from the comments, the people commenting back, they're very truthful. They're no bones. This is what it is. This is what we're experiencing. And it's a great place for any organization, military or otherwise, to go and to find how they can better service their people.
Absolutely. It's really, that's one of the things I enjoy most is getting comments. And I always encourage people to comment or even email me. I put my email address up because I love it when there's a dialogue started. I did a blog on Army romance scams. We had a blog on our site about how these people posing as service members go on dating sites and try to scam women. They pose, and it was a really big topic. I got the biggest response out of that, out of everything, but I was so glad that people had somewhere to go to voice their feelings in a real way. So it really is a great tool.
Well, and it's true about those dating sites because I've, as the host of Military Mom Talk Radio, I'm not an active service person, obviously, but I've been allowed to go on these sites and sign up. Some are, free, some are paid, and it's interesting that, I get some of these guys that will email me and they're like, yeah, I'm a civilian contractor. Yeah, I'm a painter. And I'm like, what? You would think that it would stay within in the military family, but it really doesn't. And it's really frustrating.
It is, and I think people take advantage sometimes of people's vulnerabilities. In this case, they have where they go on sites and they try to say, I'm a service member deployed and I need money to go on leave or I need money to set up a phone line, and all of it is not true. And these women just started talking back and forth. This is what I went through. No, this is what I went through. And it was a huge response, and it's very sad that people are using the military to pose for this.
It's true. It's true. It's another scam, but it's great that, you do your part by having your blog up and giving, men and women a chance to have a voice. And I know a little bit about getting flack about, not catering to the male community with a company called Motherhood Incorporated. Everybody's like, what about Fatherhood Incorporated? And I'm welcoming anybody out there to start a company just like mine and call it Fatherhood Incorporated.
That's too funny.
Go ahead. Bring it on. And so now we have your friend on the phone today, too, Vivian.
Yes, Vivian, I just want to say real quick, she's been a regular contributor to Family Matters, and she's just been, I love guest bloggers, and I hope more people will do it. I hope people after this contact me, but Vivian has been my most steady blogger, and she's written about her husband, and I just appreciate her so much. I just wanted to preface that introduction with that.
Well, and Vivian, are you here on the line with us today?
I am.
Oh, that's so great. So I'm going to throw the ball right over to you. I do have your biography here, but I usually think my guests can tell about themselves better than anyone. So why don't you give us a quick 411, kind of like who you are and how you ended up being, a guest blogger on Family Matters.
Sure. I guess the quick 411, I'm a Navy veteran and a military spouse right now. My husband has been on a kind of a rapid cycle of deployments, and I like to write about our military family life because I think that, misery loves company. No. But just because like you said earlier about blogs, the blog is Family Matters is so great because it makes it kind of a shared experience. And so I think right after I had seen the press release that online that Elaine was creating this blog, I thought, I'd really like to be a part of it and just, support it, because a lot of times you put it out there and then you don't hear any feedback. So how would they know that it's really reaching a lot of people? And I've just really enjoyed, sharing our deployment with people and getting the feedback that we get.
Well, and I think, it's funny with the blogging community, and it's like you can put something up there and you have no idea. I mean, we have Google Analytics. My company puts a lot of special bells and whistles on things to do our best to try to track, where these blog posts end up. And it's always amazing to me that some random post, somebody will comment and we'll use our software to track back. And it's like, how did you find us? Like, how did you find us? And, it's really amazing. So, when people put up these blog posts, it's kind of like on a wing and a prayer, but it's amazing when you touch somebody's heart or you touch an issue that's close to people's hearts, kind of how it comes out of the woodwork.
Right, and I'm a member of, I'm the research and policy director for Blue Star Families, and we have a lot of things that we search out on the internet. We use social media and networking a lot because of the geographic displacement of military families, and so Elaine having this forum, we immediately send it out, her posts out to our members.
Great. Vivian, I hate to cut you off, but we are about to go to break, and we'll catch you guys. I hear the music coming in the background.
Keeping the home fires burning. That's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Tina Gonzalez. And we'll be right back after these. Here comes Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues today, with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Tuesday evenings at 6, 5 Central, part of the Her Insight Network on TogiNet.com. Motherhood Talk Radio provides a powerful platform for women today by giving interesting, inspiring, and inspirational information to mothers around the globe as they navigate everything from child care to corporate formation. Motherhood Talk Radio will have best-selling authors, gurus of happiness, women of interest, who every single day make our world a better place for our families. Motherhood Talk Radio, powered by Motherhood Incorporated, is co-hosted by corporate executive Sandra Beck and stay-at-home mom Christy Holly. For more information on each and the show, go to motherhoodtalkradio.com. Mom, this really is your show. Motherhood Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Tuesday afternoons at 6, 5 Central, part of the Her Insight Network on TogiNet.com. Hey, you living the dream like Nina and Cindy?
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Were you shocked by the Chuck E. Cheese calamities, diaper dilemmas, and major mom minivan mishaps? Then get ready to share it with Living the Dream Moms with Nina Fry and Cindy Schmitzer, Thursday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet. And as Nina and Cindy say, if you're thinking it, we're saying it. It's your chance to discuss, share, and learn from two moms who have been there, done that, and got the t-shirts. Check out their website, ltdchix.com. Living the Dream Moms is all about all things moms have to deal with daily. Nina and Cindy are two ordinary frazzled moms who admit when they need help and do their best to research and discuss topics that are not always talked about. Living the Dream Moms are just two real women who are discussing the trials and tribulations and triumphs of everyday mom lives. You are not alone. It's Living the Dream Moms with Nina Fry and Cindy Schmitzer. Thursday mornings at 10 Eastern, 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front, with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now, let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Tina Gonzalez and Sandra Beck.
Courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Hey, military moms. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with my co-host, Tina Gonzalez. And, Tina, you're juggling some kids in the background.
Oh, yeah, you guys hear them?
Yeah, well, you know what? This is Military Mom Talk Radio, so we're all good to go with noise in the background.
Yeah, it's they're vetoing the whole nap time routine.
Oh, well, mine was hanging on the piano.
Yeah, that traffic nap, I think, rejuvenated them, and yeah, they're in the background.
That's the worst.
Just telling them just whatever. They want candy and popcorn and ice cream. I'm like, just go. That's fine.
Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you, don't stress it. Don't worry about it. We are all moms. Most of us are moms listening today, and we can deal with a little bit of background noise.
Good.
I'm locked in my bedroom.
Who was that? Was that Elaine or Vivian?
That's Vivian.
So we are here on Military Mom
bedroom.
Talk Radio with one of our radio guests locked in her bedroom.
I'm sorry, my office.
Oh, in your office. It's all good. It's all good. Tina, we had a show a while back with First Sergeant Mike Hoffman, and he was down at Pendleton, and he couldn't find a safe, quiet place to call, so he took his car out in a field, and there were helicopters landing, the wind was blowing, it was like 100 degrees out, and, we just do the best we can because we're can-do, and we'll get it done. So we're here today with Elaine Wilson, and she is I guess you would say you're the main editor and writer on the Family Matters blog. Would that be fair?
That would work. I do have some wonderful contributors and help, but yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Sure, and now you've been a military journalist for 15 years.
Correct.
That's a long time.
Yes. I'm sorry?
I said that's a long time.
Oh, it's aging. I'm aging myself now.
You only started when you were 10. It's just amazing. You're like a prodigy with this stuff.
Yes, I'll have to work on the facelift soon. I started out with the Air Force, and then I became a DoD civilian, and I've been working as a DoD civilian for several years, which has been great because I still feel like I'm serving and contributing in a different way, which I really enjoy.
Absolutely. I mean, both in uniform and out of uniform, people can make a huge difference, especially for military families. I'm sure, Vivian, you agree, and Tina as well. Now, you guys kind of have your finger on the pulse of military families, both, the three of you, by nature of who you are, but also because of the things that you do from day to day. So I'm going to ask you one by one what you think is some of the most talked about topics with military families today with respect to the military lifestyle. Elaine, I think I'm going to start with you.
Okay, great. Well, I attended a leadership summit on military families last year with a forum of spouses, and they brought up these topics that I've heard repeated over and over the last several years. One of them is childcare, supply and demand, healthcare, access for Guard and Reserve to TRICARE, and the amount of services for special needs children. I've heard those topics quite a bit. And then last, probably, that I've heard most especially in recent months even, is education, how to guide military children through transitions from school to school. And also what happens with our Guard and Reserve children who are in civilian schools and the teachers there might not even realize one of the parents is deployed. And do they have the resources to help the children if they do know that their parent is deployed? So those three topics are the ones that I've seen kind of repeatedly and the ones that seem the most passionate for families.
Those are all really great topics. I mean, they're very, I think, near and dear to the hearts of the moms that are listening today. Now, Vivian, how about you? What do you see in your experience?
And what we've seen, our survey last year, Blue Star Families released a survey, and one of the most significant findings that we found was that 94% of the respondents answered the question of, do you think the larger community understands and appreciates the challenges that modern-day military families face? And so that was a real kind of eye-opener after, being at war for 8 years, the strain that can cause military families, especially when they feel that it's not a shared kind of sacrifice that the whole country is making together. And because of that, there's been some more recent studies. There was one by the Strategic Studies Institute where they did find that military children are more resilient when they feel like their community supports and appreciates them. So those are some kind of things that we've been seeing. Additionally, like Elaine said, the children, both effects of deployment and the repeated and rapid deployments on children, and then their educational issues. And so, again, with Blue Star Families, what we see is the Interstate Compact on Educational Opportunity for Military Children, which Elaine covered. It's like she has the pulse of what's going on. And I mean, we refer our members to her site because it's such great information, like from the source with no, sometimes information can get confused in the delivery. And then finally, what's coming up a lot more often now is spousal employment and education issues with the MyCAA issue and that situation. And again, Elaine was right there with that, answering those questions. So those are the type of things that we're seeing.
Now, Tina, what do you see Bayside? Do those sound like topics that you hear about in talking to your other friends down in Pendleton and your other moms throughout the military?
Honestly, they got it right on the nose. It's basically I hear a lot of the. Since I do daycare and I'm with children and I talk to parents and I provide care for the single military, I hear it a lot. It's about, how can I get, someone to work with my schedule, resources for like time away when they're not at work. Like I do respite care for deployed families, when families have a deployed member and they just want some time away. It's not for them to go out and work or, to do their schoolwork. They just want time away from their kids just so that they can get that breathing space. So those are a lot right now. Respite care is a big thing. We have a lot of units leaving out of here over the next 2 months. So it's a lot of the anxiety of, they're leaving. I got to get everything, on the ball. There's a lot of people coming in. Summertime is a big transition period where everyone's PCSing. They're either coming or going. In my neighborhood alone, we have so many empty houses where people have just moved out, as soon as school ended, and we're already getting in the moving trucks, and all the new people are coming in, and whether they're coming from another state or, they're new to the whole military life, there's a lot of, well, what do we do here? Where can we go? Special needs, that's a big one too. I have both my sons are special needs for asthma and different things like that, and just little things like that. They don't know. You could have an asthmatic child and you're coming new into the military and you don't know where to turn. You don't know that there's special help out there for that kind of thing. So it's a lot of the new people coming in, just needing to know where to go. Point, you're going to this side of the base. This is the building you need to go to. It's a lot of that right now.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stress on the family. It's a lot of stress on the kids. It's a lot of stress, I'm sure, on the service member knowing that, all this transition is going on.
Definitely.
Definitely. So some of the topics that you guys talk about on your blog, address these things, and whether, you're not there to be, to solve all these problems. You're there to really be an information resource, to be a place where people can post their comments and be part of the community of things that are going on. And you guys actually encourage a two-way dialogue with Family Matters. And how have you been able to foster this kind of dialogue?
Well, I definitely encourage people to write in. And I think the best way to foster it is just to hit on the topics that people are plugged into, that are near and dear to the family's hearts, whether it's through the news or just talking to spouses or families, just being plugged in. So if you can hit those hot topics, I think that helps get people to actually write in. And then I try to respond back and let them know that I'm forwarding their suggestions onto the contacts in the Pentagon. And I've had people write in, and I've actually been able to forward their comments up to the Army Secretary. I mean, we really push them up when they're really good issues or suggestions or concerns. So I try to let people know that you're not just writing into a void. Either I'm going to respond or I'll try to get an answer back to you if you have a question or an issue. So that's kind of how I try to foster that dialogue, and I would love to do it even more so. I would love more people to write in. I'd love to get more guest bloggers like Vivian, of course. She's wonderful. And just really get people to start conversing with each other, because I think by understanding what each other's going through, it kind of eases the challenges in the daily life for people.
Yeah, because, we want to, I think at the base of it, make military life sustainable and enjoyable, because we all, there are challenges that come with the experience, but it's, we're very proud to be military families. And when you have this ability to converse with other people in a conversational type two-way dialogue where you're, sharing what happens, the things that go wrong right after someone deploys, or the problems that happen with reintegration, and everybody's got these expectations, and you just kind of feel like you're one step off of a dance together. But sharing those really kind of creates the community and the feeling of camaraderie that needs to happen to kind of, get us through this.
Well, and I think that's why, the blogs exist. That's one of the reasons that, Military Mom Talk Radio exists, is to really try to help families share information. Because I know one of the things that has happened to me in running a company called Motherhood Incorporated and having a blog and having radio shows and things like that is you realize as moms, and especially for you guys being military moms, there's so much you don't know. There's so many decisions you have to make on a daily basis, and it goes up exponentially when you add one kid in the mix, two kids in the mix. Tina, you have 4 girls. How many kids do you have each, Vivian and Elaine?
Oh, 3 for Elaine.
Yeah, so including my husband.
Your kids are what, 8? You said 8, 9, and 1?
8, 6, and 1. Yes.
And how about you, Vivian?
6 and 3, and then I have a 32-year-old.
We've got a lot of things going on here with kids of all ages, and we've got a lot of issues that every family gets over and over. So we're going to go to break now, and we will catch you guys back, and we will talk about some other issues that are affecting today's families.
Are you a military mom? Looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? That's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Tina Gonzalez. And we'll be right back after these. Every woman wants to know how successful women manage their lives. So join host Sharon Silver for Getting to the Heart of the Matter every Thursday at 1 Eastern, noon Central, part of the Her Insight Network on TogiNet.com. Have you ever wondered who the woman behind the family, service, or product really is? How she became an innovator? How she reaches out and connects with others? Or how do they do it all without sacrificing their family or themselves? Getting to the Heart of the Matter is for you. Sharon will interview guests who bring wisdom and sage advice. Sharon will interview all kinds of women, from everyday moms to extraordinary stories. Sharon gets to the heart of the matter by asking the big questions. How these women manage being a mom or a business owner or just being a woman. You'll hear how they prevent themselves from becoming workaholics either in their career or with their families and still find time to fulfill their quest for calm and personal fulfillment. For more information on Sharon, check out her website, proactiveparenting.net. Then be here for Getting to the Heart of the Matter with Sharon Silver. Every Thursday at 1 Eastern, noon Central, part of the Her Insight Network on TogiNet.com. Get ready for the Not So Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not So Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered. In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not So Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central on TogiNet.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front, with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sail at the BX. Now, let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Tina Gonzalez and Sandra Beck.
Hey, Military Moms. This is Sandra Beck, and we are here with Military Mom Talk Radio. I'm here with my co-host, Tina Gonzalez. Tina, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm shooing kids out of my room that is supposed to be off limits on Mondays at 2 o'clock, but they haven't recognized what day it is, obviously.
Well, that's A-okay, because we are dealing with family matters today, and, you know, having quiet and peace and quiet and, you know, having a minute to ourselves, even if it is to run a radio show, is something that can be very precious. And I would have liked to see Elaine, I got to tell you. You know, I'm going to keep harping on the same thing, but when she was active duty Air Force stationed in Turkey with a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old as a single parent, that's almost like it's even better than Protocol. It's almost like a funny TV show. We could call you Major Mom. But
that would have been a good reality show.
Yeah, really. Let's watch Elaine run around like a lunatic trying to do everything. But she is the author of a really great blog called Family Matters, and you can follow her on Twitter. If you look her up on Twitter, Family Matters DOD, like Department of Defense. And what's the best way, Elaine, that people can find Family Matters?
Well, you can go straight to the site at afps.dodlive.mil. Or
can
you
you
can
give
go
us
to our
those
website.
letters? Because it's hard to hear sometimes on the radio, like whether you say, you know, B, D, E, you know, they sound alike.
Sure.
So can you give them in military letters?
Oh, I don't know if I remember all those.
Come on.
Impromptu quiz. But it is afps.dodlive.mil, as in military.
Okay. Here we got that one. But either way, I think you can Google Family Matters and Department of the Defense or Family Matters Elaine Wilson, and it should come up.
Absolutely.
It should come up. Now, you've got your partner in crime here, our guest blogger, Vivian. And now, you mentioned earlier on the show, you're the Research and Policy Director for Blue Star Families. We're kind of doing the show backwards. You know, let's do the introductions at the end of the show. Can you tell us a little bit about Blue Star Families?
Sure. It's a nationwide group of military families that just seeks to connect, support, and empower our military families in order to make military life more sustainable. And if I could plug, we have a great program going on right now called Blue Star Museums, in which we're partnering with the National Endowment for the Arts to provide free entrance to museums throughout the country until Labor Day weekend.
That's great. So how do our listeners take part in that?
If they want any information, they can go to www.bluestarfam, FAM, like military families, .org. That's www.bluestarfam.org.
That's outstanding. And they can get free passes?
Yes, there's over 850 participating museums right now, so we're really excited about it. It's a great initiative to kind of show that kind of connecting thing between the community and the military families to show that our communities support us.
Well, and how great is that? You can go to the kids, say, hey, look at, we're going to go to this museum today, and, we're getting free tickets, guys, because, free is good, and we're going to have this adventure, with the family, because of, we recognize that it's hard sometimes when mom and dad are, overseas or, doing whatever they need to do, and this is the way, the museum is thanking us. And I know if that was my kids, they would think it was totally cool.
Oh, yeah, it's a really wonderful way to focus on the over 1 million, children whose parents are deployed this summer, or maybe they're coming back, and it's an easy way to, spend a nice family day together without spending any money or going to the pool. There's only so many times you can go to the pool.
Seriously.
I go every single day. Like, it's a ritual. It's like in our schedule. Every day we go to the pool. It's horrible. I'd rather go to the museum.
Yeah, there's a whole list of the participating ones. So, and that's another thing I think Elaine covered in the Family Matters blog.
Yes, that's a great program. It is really amazing. I think it's wonderful you guys are doing that.
Well, and now, what are some things we can look forward to in upcoming blogs that you guys are going to be talking about? I know you talked a lot about, different topics you were going to address. Are you guys looking for guest bloggers? You looking for moms that are listening today to contact you, Elaine, and see how they can be just like Vivian?
I so am. I please, if anyone's listening out there that would love to talk about their military experiences as a family member, how anything to do with military families, I would love for you to let me know. Send me a note. Go on our site. My email's on there. You can go on the Twitter, however you want to do it, and send me a note because I really am encouraging people to guest blog. I need 1,000 more people like Vivian. I don't think they exist, but it would be nice. And if I could clone her. But just her stuff's so real and honest, and I would love for more people to write in because it really touches people to hear from someone who's going through the same issues. So I definitely would love to get in a, that was a long story, but I'd love to get people to write in and guest blog.
Well, and Vivian, just take a quick minute here and talk about, what does it, since you are a guest blogger and we're asking for guest bloggers, to come forward, what is that, what do you really do? Like, is it, does it take a lot of your time? Do you have to have any special software? What do you do?
No, you just, you kind of have to have a sense of humor about yourself because I just really, it's funny looking back, I'm actually really glad I did it through our deployment because I can use it almost as like a diary because I never would have sat down and, wrote, Dear Diary, this is what I did today. But kind of sharing it with others, we can look back and see how much our family has grown. And that's really all you have to do is be willing to share yourself with other people and the good and the bad, which the bad usually, and the sentimental, I think one time I wrote about the last piece of pizza that was left in the refrigerator, and I was just feeling really sentimental at that moment about, I can't throw it away, but it's really growing moldy, but it's the last thing we ate before he left together.
Oh.
And so it's, just the funny everyday anecdotes, but Elaine's right. I mean, it makes it real. And I think it creates that sense of community that we're kind of all in this together and everybody has bad days and everybody has good days and there's a whole bunch of in between.
Well, and I think that's where blogging becomes very powerful and just like, the radio that we're doing today, this radio show is broadcast out of Texas and it's available on iTunes and, you can download different shows at militarymomtalkradio.com. And I think the ability for the Internet to have this stuff hosted so you can go to it at your convenience. It's like no longer do we have to, the newspaper came out today and I threw it away and now I can't find that article that I wanted to read. It's all available up on the Internet, and this stuff is real time, but it's also stuff that could have happened to somebody 3 years ago, but it's appropriate for you today.
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. And I just wanted to kind of plug some future topics that I was interested, that I'd like to highlight. I'd love to hear more from spouses about some topics that might be on their mind. And on over 4th of July weekend, I had this amazing opportunity to go with Dr. Biden to Iraq, the vice president's wife, and it was so amazing. So I wrote about that. I hope people look that up, and I'm hoping to travel with her again on her military family travels, and I would love to highlight that in future blogs. So I hope people tune in for that.
Now, is this you speaking, Elaine? I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell you guys.
Yes, sorry about that. Yes, this is Elaine speaking.
I know, it's like separated at birth. Why don't you tell us, we've got a few minutes, how was it traveling with Biden's wife?
It was amazing. I got a call right before I was about to go away for 4th of July. They said, do you want to go to a desert somewhere? And I'm like, sure. It was absolutely amazing. We went to I went with her. We visited a lot of service members and spoke to them about what kind of issues they're going through being separated from their families. And Dr. Biden is just really passionate about helping military families, and she impressed me so much. It was just a really amazing experience, and I'm so glad I got to do it. I wrote all about it, so I hope people come and visit the blog and read about it.
Well, and how is it different? You know, we've got about 2 minutes till the end of the show. Mm-hmm. How are you different from before you went to Iraq with Dr. Biden to coming back? Was there anything that changed in you?
Yes, absolutely. I think I've always had an extremely deep appreciation for our service members, but that experience even deepened it even more. Just being there in austere conditions, with sharing a trailer with a bunch of people, or staying somewhere where attacks were coming in. It was just it really just deepened my appreciation for what our service members go through, and also for our military families that are holding down the home front. If it's possible to deepen my appreciation anymore, it was.
That's an amazing, amazing experience. What's even more amazing is we've got Tina. You met the First Lady.
I did.
A couple weeks ago.
She was the nicest woman ever.
Right, so now we figure we have to keep going down the chain of command. Who are we going to meet next, Elaine? I think that's up to you.
Admiral Mullen's wife is a big advocate. She's on Twitter, too.
Well, you know what?
Mrs. Mullen's wonderful.
And have you met her?
Yes, I have. I've interviewed her and met her. I wrote about that on my blog as well. We visited Sesame Street and doing a video for children with a fallen loved one. And she was there, and I interviewed her and wrote about that on my blog. That was another just wonderful experience. You know, going to Sesame Street, you can't beat that.
Well, Sesame Street, they have a really cute deployment one, too.
They do. There's a lot of new resources that are coming out to kind of instill that pride in your children and let them know that what their parents are doing that causes them to be away should, that they're doing their own job and being their own, they're contributing as well. And I think that it helps instill a sense of pride rather than, the anger that can come from missing the family member.
Sure. Well, you guys, I want to thank you for being here today. Tina and I have had the pleasure of having Elaine Wilson. She's an editor and writer for the Defense Department's Armed Forces Press Service, and she's also launched this great blog, Family Matters. And Vivian, thank you for joining us as a guest blogger. And we're going to come back next week with some more great guests and some more great information. I want to thank you guys today for being here.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.